Hi friends, continuing to the chapter The Born Again. Evidence of an reincarnation and its impact on society and the religion. About the turn of an millennium, multiple independently researched the reincarnation causes have emerged. While revealed that from the lifetime to the lifetime, people have some facial features, personality triad, passion, talent, and even an linguistic writing style. The most compelling cases are those in which the children have an spontaneous memories of a past lifetime that can be factually verified. Recently in the United States, such cases was featured on a national television. In 2005, a reincarnation cases involved a little boy named as James who remembered dying as a fighter aircraft pilot in the World War II. Was aired on an ABC Primetime, a popular television news program. The parents have called on an Carol Bowman, and reincarnation researchers who specializes in this case involving the children, to help with their son who was experiencing the nightmares regarding the crashes. Through the information given to his parents, Bruce and Andrea, his father was unable to validate his son's past life as US aircraft carrier. His name is pilot James Houston. And when the little James was reunited with the Houston, surviving the sister based on an information that only James Houston could have known. The sister accepted the little James as the reincarnation of her deceased brother. Another case that Carol Bowman, author of an children's past life cities, involves a little boy in India named Tinu Singh, who had clear memories of a past lifetime in Agra, in which his name was Suresh Verma. He recalled that he had a wife named Uma and two children. When he was reunited with his past life, he identified the family members, gave details of Suresh Verma's life that were validated, and thus Tinu was accepted by Verma's family as an reincarnation of Suresh. This case was also aired on 40 Minutes on BBC program in 1990 and was recently featured in an Reincarnation International published from the London. Another case that involved the childhood memories is that the Barbaro Carolyn, who since she was a little girl remembered her lifetime as an Annie Frank. The Frank Carolyn case has an enormous significance from a sociological point of view, as Annie Frank was precociated as a Jew while the Barbaro was born in a Christian family. This case will be presented in detail later on. This book is divided into 3 sessions. The first involved the independently researched incarnation cases which demonstrate the common principles of an reincarnation, such as the observation that the facial features stay the same for one incarnation to the another. The second sessions involve the Western case solved through an Kevin Raisin, a world famous transmedian who is featured in the 3 of an Shirley MacLaine books. A transmedium works by going into an meditative state or trance, which allows the spirit being to speak through him. In doing an reincarnation research, I found through a Kevin channel in an Egyptian spirit guide named Othan Re, who demonstrated the ability to make what I access to be accurate past life identifications. That is a rare ability, and when I found that Othan Re could be used as an resource in this captivity, I began working with Kevin on a regular basis. At the time of an publications of an Born Again, I have worked with Kevin for over 5 years and have over 70 sessions with him. Having just such extensive experiences with the Kevin Spirit Guide, I have learned to have confidence in Othan Re's abilities in establishing the accurate matches in reincarnation cases. As such, I have used an authentry as an gold standard to determine whether the past life matches our accurate. All reincarnation cases found in a Brown Again and my earlier works, written of an revolvinatories, were confirmed to be accurate and valid by Authn Re. The third sessions involved Indian reincarnation cases primarily derived through my works with Kevin Rainson. Though as well as shall we see a soul can incarnate in India in one lifetime and the United States or the Pakistan in the another. The last chapters features the Indian spiritual teacher Shiva Baba who support my reincarnation research and who independently has known of and several of his own past life. Objective evidence of an reincarnation based on an spontaneous memories of a past lives both in the childhood and the adulthood will inevitably grow. With the advent of the internet, communication regarding these cases on the worldwide basis will result in a large database of an reincarnation cases. Indeed, I have found the Institute for the Integration of a Science Institution and the Spirit, that is IISI, along with the Kevin Rayson and the others, that it is dedicated to the scientific research of an reincarnation, human or soul evolution and related matters. At this point, I would like to review some of the social changes that the objective evidence of an reincarnation will bring. One of the most beneficial and needed effect that an understanding of an reincarnation will include is a migrating of an violence between the people belonging to different races, religion and ethnic backgrounds. This change is virtually needed given events such as the distractions of the World Trade Center and the daily rations of and violence and killing that we observe between the people of an construction cultures. The evidence presented in this book shows that the people changes the religion, ethic and racial affiliations from the lifetime to the lifetime. Once people realizes that the religious affiliation constitutions a temporary belief system that one can be Christian in one lifetime and a Jew, Muslim, Hindu or Buddhism in the another, then the conflict based on these affiliation will be seen as an self-defeating. Instead, we all must stop thinking about ourselves exclusive as in Christian, Jewish, Muslims or Hindus. For in a span of an lifetimes, we became all of these and more. The nice thing about this understanding is that no religion is neglected and none is deemed wrong. Rather, we come to understand that from the lifetime to the lifetime, we have the opportunity to enjoy and learn from various religions and doctrines. The key is not to get too attached to one particular belief system, for in the end, this is the only leads to division and conflicts. I believe that the knowledge of a mechanism of an reincarnation will help humanity evolve from an tribal mentality, in which we identify with one particular religion, ethics, racials, or an nationalistical group, to the stage of an universal human. As a universal human, one understands and respects many culture, but does not align oneself with any one demonstration. In the United States, writers such as Gary Zuok and Barbara Max Hubbard are forwarding the concept of an universal human. The information given in this book will provide a greater foundation for all their studies and ideas. As we move from a tribal human to the universal human, racism and religious prejudice will come to an end. Nationalism and the ethnic pride will also be put in an preservatives as we realize that we can be born in a different countries and to the parent of various ethnic backgrounds from one lifetime to the another. When people realizes that one can be white in one lifetime and black or Asian in another, racial prejudice will also dissolve. Diverse religions will adopt a more universal set of an teaching as spirituality becomes more scientific in nature based on an observation and objective data. Indeed, spirituality will eventually move from the domain of an belief to the realism of the science. Religious organization will still remain important as we will still need a place to concentrate and workshop the God connectivity. It is just and collective of an conflicts and a war will be diminished. Individual violent behavior and a crime will be curtailed. This premises is based on two principles. One is that the people will understand karma as an relative. We will know that we will do this with return to us in their time. This will create a change in an behavior in those who have been at the stake, as well as those who belong to the organized religion. Currently, religious doctrine teaches that the wrong action can be absorbed or forgiven by the one particular region, authorities, and one particular God. This reduces the motivation to behave in a proper manner. Evidence of an reincarnation will bring the realization that we are responsible for our action and that is in subsequent lifetime. We will be subject to the same action that we create in the lifetime. If we scorn someone in this lifetime, we will be the object of a scorn in the another. If we kill someone in another lifetime, we will have to experience the suffering that our action caused. If we express a tolerance and the companion, these things will come back to us too. With this understanding, every action that has the potential to harm others will be more carefully weighted. Some will say that in culture that the embarrassed reincarnation crime still exists. I counter this with that the argument that there is a big difference in believing in an reincarnation and knowing that reincarnation is a way through the human soul evolves. When you absolutely know that reincarnation and karmas are real, then commuting a crime is likely purposefully placing your hand into an rotating furnace. Another reason why the violence will be curtailed is that the people will realize that they can bring with them in further lifetimes knowledge and the skills learned in this lifetime. This is especially important for those who born in the poverty or the other disadvantages. For those born with this little, for those who feel shortchanged in their life, crime may seem like the only way out. This is particularly true in an American culture where the materialism run rampant and the dispensary between those who have and those who have not in and greater than the ever. Given a situation of an inequality, those who perpetrate crimes may see their actions as an retribution for being placed in unfair circumstances and as an remedy for the hopelessness. Evidences present in this book shows that from the lifetime to the lifetime, we pick up where we have left off, that we bring with our skills and abilities that we have earned in a previous lifetime. We will see that the individual can return to the life, complete to a job, or to bring to the frictions a goal which was initiated in the prior lifetime. This can bring a hope to those caught in an unfortunate circumstances. Someone who find opportunities blocked in this lifetime can plan and invest for an subsequent lifetimes. One can begin studying, learning and practicing in this incarnation in the preparation for the next. For example, if you want to become a great musician, then put that desire into the practice today. In a future incarnation, you will be able to bring forth talent earned in the past. If you want to be wealthy, study finance and invest today. And you will bring the business outcome with you and your lifetime. If you want to be a great musician, practice your interest, instruments and study the compensation today so that the talent can emerge on another marrow. Knowing that the effort expanded in this lifetime will be rewarded in another will bring a hope to those in desire. Combination word hunger and the poverty will become a more pressing concerns of each individual on the planets. This will occur due to the two realizations. First of all, we will comprehend that we return to a world that we helped to create. We are responsible for the condition that we will live under in the future incarnation. From the point of view of an self-interest, the knowledge that we may be reborn someday in an improved land will motivate those in developed countries to share in resources with the poorer countries. Citizens of developed countries will feel a greater need to help the poor nation in implementing the infrastructures and economic policies that will ensure the basic needs of the population are met. Our attitude towards the third world debate will change as we become more concerned about the plight of a poor. Secondly, from a spiritual perspective, people will realize that the amount in one bank's account at the time of a death means nothing in the eyes of God. Rather, the good karma is based on what we have done during our lifetime to help our fellow men. With a better understanding of karma, the rich will care more about the alleviating the suffering of those who have not. Collectively, we will invest more of our time, energy, money, and creativity on devising the way to make the world a better place for those born in an unfortunate circumstances. We will be less motivated to put our resources in a bigger houses, fancier cars, jewelry, and the tricklets, sport teams, and the violent games. Instead, we will have a desire to improve the conditions of a life for the collective. Knowledge of a reincarnation will change what we value, and a desire will emerge to pursue those things that count for an spiritual point of view. Protecting the environment will become a more pressing concern as the people realizes that they will have to return to the planet Earth, our terrestrial home, many times in the future. People will realize that in an subsequent lifetimes they themselves will have to deal with an environmental problem created today. Profit will no longer take in passenger over protecting the environment. For people who realize that everything they do is taking in an account and then the crimes against the earth have an karmic toll too. Relationship between the family members, friends and the event force will be enchanted. As the people who realize that we return to the life in a group, that we return to the earth with those who have been known before. Those with whom we have a conflict in one lifetime, we will meet them again in the another. Our bitterness enemy may come back to us, a family member or the co-worker, so that we may have another opportunity to truly know the other person and have a chance for a resolution of a conflict to occur. As such, a greater effort will be made to understand one another in our present incarnations. We will learn to have intolerance for those with the opposing views and the differing values in life. Loving relationship will be organized as more a previously community than the money or the gold. Organized religion and the acceptance of an reincarnations. It will be interesting to see how an organized religion responds to the mountain evidence of an reincarnation that is streaming into the world. Religious authorities will have the two opinions: to integrate the reincarnation into their doctrine or to reject it. If the religious authorities reject the evidence of an reincarnation, they will maintain the status quo and guarantee their short-term security, but they will also propagate the continuous religion conflicts which could not eventually grow into a nuclear disaster. If the religious authorities embrace the information regarding the reincarnation, they will help create a more peaceful world. Their religions will endure as a wonderful and a beautiful teaching of their prohibits will not be diminished. Further, people will always need a religion as a people need to be conjugate and worship the God collectively. Fortunately, there are the reference in the doctrines of many of our major relations that seems to support the existence of an reincarnation, which may make it easier to integrate the reincarnation into a traditional belief system. Though I am not a religion scholar or authority in this manner, let me share with you passages from the religious texts that seems to be allude to reincarnation. I focus on Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, as in reincarnation has traditionally not been empathized in these religions. Reincarnation and Christianity. Leader of a Christian, Jewish, and Islamic faith may have an easier time accepting the evidence of an reincarnation if they say that reincarnize that teaching on an reincarnation were the one part of an doctrine of their prohibit. As such, the information presented in this book is not so new. After all, rather teaching regarding the reincarnation in the major religions have been ignored at this time, purposely hidden. Let us take in Christianity as an example. In the New Testament, Jews were dissipated as an expecting the reincarnation of their great prohibit. In this prohibit, we already thought that to have a reincarnation in time past. For example, the Jewish and called the Sumerians believed the Adam reincarnation as Noah, then as Abraham, then Moses. Reincarnation of an old prohibit was also on the mind of Jews at the time of Jesus. In fact, the followers of Jesus thought that he was reincarnated the prohibit. Let us reflect on the following passages from the Gospel of Matthew. When Jesus came into a coast of Caesarea Philippi, he asked the disciples, saying, "Whom do you men say I? The Son of a Man I am." And they say, "Some says that thou art the John the Baptist, some Elias, and others, Jeremiah, or the one of an prohibit." Matthew 16:13-4. Herod, who was in command of Jerusalem under the Romans, also speculated on who Jesus was maybe previously been. Herod also thought that Jesus might have been one of an old prohibit or even John the Baptist who he had recently had beheaded. When Jesus announced that he was a Jewish Messiah, his followers became confused, as the scripture stated that the prophet Elias or Elijah in the Greek would return and precede the coming of an Messiah. The disciples put their apparent dispensary of the Jesus. The discipline pointed out, why then say that the scribes that the Elias must come first? And Jesus answered and said unto them, Elias trust shall first one, and restore all the things. But I say unto you, that Elias is come already, and they knew him out. Then the disciples understood that he spoke unto the of a John the Baptist. Matthew 17:9-13 verses. In another session of an New Testament, Jesus unequally stated that the John the Baptist is the reincarnation of an prophet Elias. Among them that are the born of an woman, there had not risen a greater than John the Baptist. And if you will receive it, this is Elias. He that hath ears to hear, let him hear. Matthew 11:11-15 verses. Reincarnation is alluded to in a session of an New Testament in which the disciple asked Jesus why a man was born blind. The disciple asked, which did the sin, this man or his parents? John 9:34. This passage implies that the blind man has a previous incarnation where he had an opportunity to commit a sin that would result in an karmic consequences of an blindness. Without the promises of the reincarnation, how could the blind man commit a sin responsible for his handicapped as a man was blind from his birth. Jesus doesn't dispute the reason of an disciple, though he stated that the blindness was due to his other factor. In addition to these Celestians from the New Testament, evidence shows that the reincarnation was part of a church yearly doctrine and was proved by the doctrine prior to the 8th century and whose work were used to disseminate the Christian ideas to the population of an Roman Empire. To be considered a church father, one had to meet the following criteria. One had to lead a holy life. One's writing had to be free of an doctrinal error. One interpretation of an Christian doctrine was deemed to be exemplary, and one's writing has to be have an approval of the church. A number of Christian church fathers believed in and wrote about the reincarnation. Saint Justin Mayer expressed stated that the soul inhabits more than one human body. Origin 185 to 254 AD, who was considered by the sister Saint Jerome as the greatest teacher of the church after the apostles, defended the idea that the souls exist before the body, fundamental to the concept of an reincarnation. Another church father, Saint Gadri, Bishop of Niza, wrote that it is absolutely necessary that the soul should be healed and purified, and if this is not take a place during its life on the earth, it must be accomplished in the future life. The soul is immaterial and invisible in the nature. It at the one time plus of one body and exchanges it for a second. Saint Georgiria also wrote, every soul comes into the world strengthened by the victories or weakened by the defeats of their previous life. Saint Austin, one of the greatest theologians of an Christian churches, speculated that the philosopher Plotius was a reincarnation of Plato. Saint Austin wrote, the message of Plato now shines for mainly in the Palestine. A Palestine is so like his master that the one would think. The Plato was born again in the Palestines. Other churches father who demonstrated a belief in an reincarnation included Synthesis, the Bishop of An Palomaces, Saint Ambrose, Pope Giori, and Jerome, Saint Antheusus, Saint Basil, Saint John Chrysostom, Saint Gregory of and the Clement of Alexandria. If the belief in the pre-existence of an soul and the reincarnation was prominent in the earliest Christian churches, why is it not prominent in the contemporary doctrine? The reason is that a Roman emperor named as an Justinian made an arrangement for a reincarnation to be removed from the official church doctrine in 553. In the early centuries of a Christian church, dispute over the doctrine were settled by the bishop of the church through meetings called as ecumenical councils. These councils were major gathering which occurs infrequent, sometimes one in 100 years. To understand the story of an reincarnation and the Christian churches, we must go back in a time to the year of 330 AD, capital of an Roman Empire, from the Roman to the Constantinople city, which today is called as Istanbul. As a result, the two centers of the Christian churches developed the new Western churches in Rome and the Eastern churches in Constantinople. As an example, Emperor Leo III prohibited the images and portraits from the being kept in the church, so the icons which today are so placed for worship. Similarly, Justinian determined the church policy regards the reincarnation. In the 6th century, the church was divided over by the Institute of an Reincarnation, whereas the bishop in the Rome beliefs were opposite to it. Emperor Justinian of an Constantinople, who controlled the exam Eastern churches, was against the doctrine of reincarnation. As an example of this interference in the church matter, Justinian excommunicated with the church father Origen, who only supported the idea of reincarnation. To further his agenda, Justinian converted the Fifth Ecumenical Council in 553 AD, with only a sixth bishop of an Western churches in Advento. It was at the meeting that the church doctrine Emperor Justinian manipulated the church doctrine by unsacking the voting pack in his favor. Pope Vilgus protested this the turn of an event and demanded the equal representation between the Eastern and the Western bishops. Though the Pope was present in the Constantinople at the time of a Fifth Immaculate Conceptions, the boycotted the council is protected. Justinian not only ignored Pope Vilgus but respected her. The Capital Encyclopedia stated that the conflicts between the empire and the Pope was so intense that the Pope suffering from many ingredients at the hands of the emperor and was almost killed. Can you conceive today that a politician or a head or a state could dictate policy to the Pope? That the Pope would boycott that the biggest meeting at the Vatican in 100 years. Yet this is what happened as the Fourth Ecumenical Council was converted in 451 AD and the Sixth Ecumenical Council was held in 680 AD. As a result, the Catholic Encyclopedia stated that the council called by the Justinians was not at all true ecumenical council. So the removal of an pre-existence of a soul as a church doctrine should be considered as an actual decree of an ecumenical council. The rift between the Eastern and the Western churches increased in 1054 when the two branches of the Christian church excommunicated with each other when the Christian crusades from the Western church were on their way to capture the Jerusalem from the Muslim. They made a point to raise the Christian city of the Constantinople. Following that episode, a permanent split occurred and the Western Church became the Roman Catholic Church, while the Eastern Orthodox Church went it on a way. Everybody, today the members of an Eastern Christian churches does not consider the Pope in the Rome as their leader. So we see that the political fragmentation within the Eastern and the Western branches of Christian churches is real today as it was in the time of Emperor Justinian and the popular Pope Vigilius. In addition to the Christian leaders fighting among themselves, they are distributing the example of an Christian fighting with those opposed to their doctrine. The Inquisition was established by a series of papal decrees between the 1227 and 1235 to comfort the dissident religions movement. In this effort, the Pope Innocent XIV authorized the use of an torture in 1252. Later, the processions of an presumed witches in Europe between the 1450 and 1700 arose as Orthodox Christian, went through it existential anxieties resulting that the Martin Luther Reformation and the emerging scientists paradigm. The papal decree Summis discriminates issues by the Pope Innocent XVIII in 1484, stimulated another wave of an torture and executions. This papal discretion was an anti-feminine and condemned witches. Thousands of innocent women were executed based on a confession obtained through the torture. The last outbreak of these persecutions occurred in the Salem, Massachusetts in 1692. The 20 women were exhausted after a group of young girls became an emotional or historical while playing at the magic. In reality, some of these considered witches in the past were mostly like the girls who had a psychic gift but who was perceived as a danger by those who went on similarity talents. Today, many women who participated in the classes designed to stimulate the intuitions and physical abilities reminded past lives in, which they were preceded and burned at the stake. It can be dangerous to be an evolved being in relatively primitive world. Reincarnation and Judaism. As mentioned, reincarnation was a part of a Jewish through at the time of Jesus. The Jewish historian Flavius Josephine, 37 to 100 AD, wrote that there was three sets of an Jewish during that era: the Sadducees, Essenes, and the Pharisees. Josephus wrote the two sets of the saints, Essenes of the Dead Sea Scroll frame and the Pharisees both believed in the reincarnations. Josephus wrote, the Pharisees believed that the souls have an immortal vigor in that and that the virtuous shall have power to revive and the life again. On account of his doctrine, they are able greatly to pursue the body of the people. Joseph himself, who served as a soldier, once rallied his men to fight by the city the doctrine of reincarnation. Josephus said to his men, do you yet not remember that all are pure spirits when they depart out in his life, obtain a most holy places in the heaven? From whence in the revolution of an ages they are again set in a pure bodies. Reincarnation is also a part of an Johar, a classic Kabbalistic text, though it would be written by the Rabbi Simon ben Joshai in the AD 80 with a contribution made by the medieval Hebrew scholars. The Kabbalistic movement focused on the hidden visions of a Jewish faith. The Zohar was edited and first published by Rabbi Moses de Leon in 1280. Here are sample passages from the Zohar regarding the reincarnations. All souls are subjected to the trials of an transmigration reincarnation, and the men do not know the designs of the Most High with regards to them. They know how they are being at all the time judged, both before coming into this world and they believe it. They do not know how many transmigrations and the mysterious trial they must undergo. Souls must re-enter the absolute substances when they have emerged. But to accomplish this end, they must develop all the perfection, the gem of which is planted in them. And if they have not fulfilled this condition during the one life, they must commence another, a third, and so forth until they have acquired the condition which fits them for a reunion with God. Another prominent Jewish theologian who believed in the reincarnation was Rabbi Menashe ben Israel, 1604 to 1657. It was this Rabbi who convinced the Oliver Cromwell to remove the crown prohibition of a Jew from residing in England, a policy that had existed for 150 years since the time of Edwards. 1. In his book Nizmat Hayan, Rabbi Menashe has been Israel wrote, the belief or the doctrine of an transmigration of a soul is a firm and infallible dogma accepted by the whole assemblages of our churches with one accord, so that there is none of to be found who would dare to deny it. Indeed, there are a great number of sages in an Israel who hold firm to this doctrine, so that they made it as dogma, a fundamental point of our religion. We are therefore in a duty bound to obey and to accept this dogma with an exclamation, as the truth of it had been inconvincingly demonstrated by the Zohar and all the books of an Kabbalist. Reincarnation and Islam. Reincarnation is also included in the teaching of Islam, a religion founded by the Prophet Muhammad. Muhammad was born in 570 AD into a prominent family that serves as a caretaker of the holy site of Mecca, which the tradition holds was built by Abraham. Muhammad married his employer, a businesswoman named Khatija. Muhammad was 25 and Khatija was 40. Islam holy text in Quran, which means that racial or reading. In the essence that the Quran is challenged work, transmitted from the God through the Muhammad. Muhammad's first revolution occurred when he was 40 years old in 16 AD. He had become recorded verses which over the time became the Quran. As the spiritual movements grew, Muhammad and his followers became the subject of the prescriptions and they had to flee Mecca in 622 AD. Taking a refuge in Medina, Muhammad was a warrior as well as a prophet and led his people into a battle many times. Eventually, Muhammad brought his followers back to Mecca, today's shrine of Islam. There are several references in the Quran that refers to the reincarnation. Let us review a few of these passages. And when his body falleth off altogether, as an old fish gel, his soul doth well by realizing, and formeth a new one instead. The person of a man is only a mass which the soul foldeth on for a reason. It weareth its proper time, and then it's cast off, and another is born in its stead. God generates being and sends them back over and over again till they return to Him. How can you make an denial of Allah who made you live again when you died? Will make you dead again and alive again until you finally return to Him. God is the one who created you all, then provided your substances, then will cause you to die, they will bring you to the life. Surely it is the God who splits the seeds and the stones, bringing the living from the dead, and it is the God who brings the dead from living. I tell you of a truth, that is the Spirit which now have affinity shall be kindred together. Altogether, they all met in a new person and the names. This last verse is of one of my favorites as it alludes to the existence of an soul groups. People who are connected emotionally and by the karma return to the life with those they have known before. This is an observation I have made in my research in addition to the passage of an reincarnation. The Quran also have a references to the karma. God does not compel a soul to do what is beyond its capacity. It gets what it has yearned and is responsible for what it deserves. Every soul will be brought face to face with the good that it has done and with the evil it has done. And we will set up the scales of injustice for the day of reckoning. And no souls have been wrong in anything, and be in the weight of mustard seeds. We will bring it forth, and we are well able to take the accounts. For we will give the life to the dead, and we record what they have sent before and what they have left after them. And we have taken an account of all the things. The Quran has in wonderful passages that makes one things in terms of an universal human. Religious application is minimized and one's below one's is deemed more important. Consider the following revisers indeed, be the Muslim, Jews, Sabians, or Christian, those who believe in a God and final day and who do not good have nothing to fear, and they will not grieve. Muhammad cautions against the exclusive Nasri religious practices, which has his day was aimed at the Christian churches. Muhammad pointed was that the God should be the central theme in the person's life, not the messenger or the prophet who conveyed the gods first. The book in these passages refers to the Bible. People of a book do not go to excess in your religion. Do not say of a God anything but the truth. The Messiah, Jesus the son of Mary, was only an envoy of a God, and a word of a God be wasted on Mary, and a spirit of God. Jalaluddin Rumi, 1207 to 1273, was a great Islamic and a Sufi poet. Sufis are considered the exotic holders of an Islamic wisdom, much as a Kabbalist or regarded as a holders for the hidden wisdoms of judicium. Rumi wrote, like grasses I have grown over and over again. I passed out of a mineral form and lived as a plant. From the plant I was lifted up to be an animal. Then I put away the animal form and took an human space. Shape. Why should I fear that if I die I shall be lost? For passing the human form I shall attain the flaming looks and shiny wings of the angel, and then I shall become what no mind has ever convinced. Oh, let me cease to exist, for non existence only means that I shall return to Him. It is interesting to note that a Christian church father mused similarly about the pathway of an human evolution, as did Rumi. This view suggests that the plant and the animal kingdom can serve as an stepping stone for a soul advancement to the stage of an human development. Let us compute the following quotation from the Christian Church's Father Sinus, Bishop of Proto-Matrix, 370 to 430 AD. From this treatise on a dreams, psychology speaks of a soul being prepared by a course of an transmigrators. When the first it comes down to the earth, that is the soul, embarks on the animal spirit as on the boat, and through it both brought it contact with the matter. In these passages of an Islamic poet Rumi and the Christian father Sinuses, the common theme of an human evolution through the repeated incarnation is hypothesized and voiced. Galileo and a dialogue on a new world system. It will be interesting to see how organized religions react to the evidence of reincarnation that is coming into the world today. Religion authorities have the option of refuting the information or being open to the possibilities that there may be some validity to the reincarnation cases that are emerging. In this content, it would like to raise another historical example, that of a scientific and the astronomer Galileo. Galileo was interested in the motion of tides and found that the tidal motion fits best with the theories of an Nicholas 1473 to 1543. Copernicus proposed that the earth orbited the sun. This view was in opposition to the belief that the earth was the center of the universe, which was the cosmology sanctioned by the Roman Catholic Church. Galileo's study of a motion of an ocean indicated that the Copernicus was correct and that the old understanding of reality was found. In 1624, Galileo wrote a dialogue of the tides, which the censor of a Roman Catholic Church licensed, though they changed the title of a dialogue on the two chief of world system. Though the dialogue on the two chief of world system was published in 1632 with the approval of a church censor, Galileo was ordered to appear in the Rome to stand trial for the grave suspension of the heresy. The Roman Catholic Church, it turned out, didn't like the worldview proposed by the Copernicus and Galileo, which placed the sun in the center of our solar system, with the earth orbiting the sun. The church forced Galileo to reason his theory that the sun stood at the center of the solar system and sentenced him to the life imprisonment, to the future humiliate him, and to maintain the control of an belief system. The Roman Catholic Church ordered that the Galileo's prison and sentence be announced in every universities, and thus his dialogue on the two chief world system be burned. Interestingly, late Pope John Paul II reopened the Galileo cases in 1979. 13 years later, in October 1992, centuries after the scientific world accepted Galileo's conclusion, the Roman Catholic Church admitted that the Vatican error in 1632. In 1992, 360 years after Galileo published in his paper, the Church officially accepted that the earth revolves around the sun and not the other way around. It is to credit of Pope John Paul II that he had righted this wrong. It is also meaningful that as a part of an millennium addresses, Pope John Paul II asked the God for forgiveness for the sins committed throughout the history in the church name. Another episode in the history that demonstrates that the church authorities can make a mistake involves the leaders of an Reformation. Martin Luther, prior to the Luther's time, The Bible was only available in Latin. As such, the only people who has an access to scriptures were the priest, who was trained in Latin. Martin Luther translated the Bible into German so that the common persons could read the Bible. Church authorities were vehemently opposed to the Luther's translations, as it took the scriptures out of their exclusion domain. The church ordered Martin Luther to cease the distribution of his Bible. When the Luthers refused, he has forced into an exile. Reflects on how many people over the centuries have received comfort from reading the scriptures. Reflect also on how unbelievable it seems today that the Christian churches was opposed to giving the people access to the Christianity holy text. In the conclusion, I hope that the readers of an organized religion as well as the political regimes will embrace the mountain evidence of an reincarnation. Acceptance of this evidence of an reincarnation. Acceptance of this evidence which demonstrate that the people can change the religion and ethic applications from the lifetime to the lifetime is the only lasting way to the curl violence between the divergence group. It may take a courage to re-evaluate the extended ways of thinking. I know without doubt that the evidence supporting reincarnation will only grow in time. Just as Galileo, the truth prevailed. The truth about the reincarnation will also prevail. In the chapter 2 cases researched by Ian Stevenson, the MD of an University of Virginia, will be presented, which demonstrate that an facial features remain constant from the one incarnation to the another. In the chapters that follows, independently researched cases will show that the personality triad, talents and the linguistic writing styles also consist. In the reincarnation causes of Paul Gauguin and Picasso, we will observe that the artistic development is replicated from one incarnation to the another, though at an earlier ages, demonstrating that we can do indeed build upon an accomplishment of an past lifetimes. In the cases of an reincarnations, Laurel and Hardy, where we even see that comedic development is replicated. Prior to the presentation to Stevenson cases, I would like to elaborate on the principle of an reincarnation derived from the cases features in this book, which can be summarized as follows. The physical appearances. Facial architecture, the shape and the proportion of a face appears to be consistent from the lifetime to the lifetime. Physical habits such as the postures, hand gestures and a type of an jewelry worn can be also consistent from the lifetime to lifetime. Even poses struck in the portraits and the photographs are often uncleanly similar from one lifetime to the another. Body types can be consistent from the lifetime to the lifetime, though the size of a body can vary. An individual can have a slight physique in one lifetime and the powerful one in the next. One can be short in one incarnation and tall in another. Thought the facial features, postures and the gesture appears to remain the same. It would like to comment on the subject of the beauty. It is my contention that any particular facial architectures can be preserved as a beautiful or handsome. The perfection of an beauty largely depends on the factors such as complexions and the physique. For example, a woman in one incarnation may be tall, thin, have a wonderful skin, a perfect smile and a toned body. Due to these factors and the effects of her appearances, this woman may become a celebrated fashion model or a beauty queen. In another incarnation, the same woman will be identical facial architecture, may be born with a coarse complexion, a stout body and a crooked teeth. This woman would have now been considered ordinary looking by the observers. In fact, a case that recently have been researched that demonstrated this point involves the American actresses and the beauty Angelina Jolie. A past lifetime has been identified to her in the France in the time of Louis XVI, in which she was described as an being unattractive as her forehead was too high of her face, her teeth was crooked, Her complexion's coarse and she walked with her limbs as one leg was shorter than the another. She had the same facial architecture and in a portrait look, like she does now, but the cosmetic factors made her appear unappealing. Of note, in that era, Julia had a big heart, as she does now, and took in the poor families under her wings. The point is that any facial architectures may be perceived as a beautiful or an attractive. Based on these variables, I believe that we can alternate being attractive and ordinary from lifetime to lifetime, based on the lessons we can learn in a particular incarnation. Of note, my reincarnation research should that in approximately 10 to 20 percentage of the cases, a soul changes gender. Even in these cases, facial architectures still remains constant. Overall, most of the people, 80 to 90 percentage, maintain the same gender from one lifetime to the another, and it seems that our essence has an innate masculine or feminine quality. Those who are initially masculine tends to reincarnate as a male. Those who are intimately feminine prefer to return in a female body. I think though that we are all switch generally periodical to learn what is it is like to be different gender. Second, the personality. Personality triad appears to persist from the lifetime to the lifetime. One way of an approaching the life and the way that the other previous you remind the constant. Some of our personality traits are positive and we carry them with us to our benefit. Other personality triads can be determined and can use in sufferings from one lifetime to the another. It appears that the part of our evolution is to smooth out the rough spot in our disposition. As an example, consider a person who is extremely aggressive by the nature. A benefit of being aggressive is that the person accomplishes his goal. A negative aspect is that other people may be hurt by an aggressive approach. The goal for an aggressive person over the period of one lifetime or more would be to take into consideration the feeling of others. Though the personality triads remain consistent, I have observed that the physical and the mental illness do not persist from one lifetime to the another. Individuals who are chemically dependent or have an psychiatric illness in a previous lifetime do not appear to carry this disorder over to a subsequent ones. Spiritually and intellectually, we seem to pick up where we have left over. Our hard-earned activities, achievements in a spiritual and an intellectual purist are retained. They are a part of us. As such, efforts in advancing ourselves are never wasted, and we build upon our endowments from lifetime to lifetime. Similarly, talents can come through one lifetime to the another, but conversely, if the souls need to take a different path in a particular lifetime, talents may at the time be blocked. Though we seem to have an similar levels of an spiritual maturity and intellectual advanced across the lifetimes, we can trade off being poor and rich, famous and unknown. We take turns being placed in and out of the spotlights. Our status is in the life seems to be determined by the karma we have created in the past lifetimes, as well as by the lessons our souls have a set for ourselves to learn. Still, there is a pattern that the powerful souls come back as an powerful souls. Great artists come back as an great artist, and those who have made an impact in the past to do again in an subsequent lifetimes. As discussed at the length in the first chapter, religious affiliation and ethnic backgrounds can be changed from the lifetime to lifetime. A soul can be a Christian in one lifetime and Jewish or Islamic in the next. It casts new insignificant regarding the conflict based on a religion or the ethnic differences. As a correlate to the personality similarities, I have noticed that many times there is a similarity in the way that a person chooses to identify themselves by the name from one time to the another. More specifically, the cadence and the influences of one chosen name or often similar from one line to the another. Of course, our parents give us our name at a birth, but as we mature, we choose that the version of a given name that we wish to be known by. Some chooses to use a middle name rather than the first name. Others prefer a nickname or to use initial. We tend to lose a vibrant of our name that reflects an internal rhythm, an energy pattern, or an energy signatures. Third, the writing style. Just a personality triad remains the constant from the lifetime to the lifetime. A person manner of an expressions seems to be similar from one lifetime to another. In the cases of John B. Jordan, Jeff Kenny, a formal linguistic analysis by the university professors was done, which indeed demonstrated that the writing structures can remain the same from one incarnation to the another. Some variations in the writing style, of course, will be observed due to its different customs of various eras. Still, constants in the modes of an expression and in a content are observed, just as the portraits allows us to see how one appearances is the same from the lifetime to the lifetime. Historical documents, diaries, and the other available documentation allows us to study and writing the style across the incarnations. Two reincarnations causes features in this book, those of William Shakespeare and the British playwright Tom Taylor, will provide a wealth of material for the analysis of a conception of dramas across the incarnations. Thank you.